Namaste and blessings to everyone. Once again, this is Dr. Vairavi Balasubramanian, PhD, the Sky Priestess. I am giving this Hello Neighbor one more go because something really just weird happened with the internet just now. It's been happening since yesterday. The astrology is all weird about technology and information right now, so I'm not surprised. Though I know some of you are diligently waiting on the first version of this, and so come back over to the other, come back over to this. But I am going to keep this one up, and hopefully people will be able to see me and hear me, and it's not going to be weird. So I see 4 people. Hello, 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 hello. Let's see who is here. Let's try this again. Hopefully it works. And you won't need that times a charm. Okay, hello ASMR munchies. Yay, good morning to you. Good evening here. Let's see who else we have on. Hello again, VB. Thank you for persisting. Weird technological stuff. It was funny. I was just like talking into the void, and all of a sudden it was saying that there was absolutely no one watching. And I was like, what the heck? And so I messaged someone on Instagram, and they're like, yeah, they're all in the chat room waiting, buffering. What's going on? I've been seeing this happen a lot to me lately. Like literally someone will be waiting to hear me or talk to me, and there'll be some technological issue or some reason why they can't see me or some reason why, they like just something weird gets in the way, which is why I've been telling everyone, you know, whoever you're following, whatever truth tellers you believe in, there's going to be obstacles for you to access them at this time because the other side is pushing hard. Anyway, so thank you all so much. Hello again, Candy. Hello, Ray Joy. Hello again, Lantern Hill. Hello, Tamika. And hello, Batwoman. Thank you for telling me that everyone was waiting. I was like, what did I do wrong? So, okay. So like I was saying, today has been a bit heavy for me because I've been having a migraine and I've just been lying down the whole day and I've been bored to death. So I've been watching all kinds of stuff on YouTube, which is something I don't normally do. And the kinds of things I like. So I figured we could just do this as a general chill out, hangout type thing, and we don't need to do anything serious for a change. So I figure that we can just, chill out and talk about stuff because that's what a community space is also about. So today I was looking at all of the stuff I used to like back when I had a life that was not being the Sky Priestess. And I was thinking back to when I was in England and I really enjoyed British comedy. And so I was watching QI, I was watching interviews with Hugh Laurie, Stephen Fry, John Oliver, QI, which is a really cool show. Admittedly, they could be more diverse. There was this robot, Asimo. And I don't know if you remember him, but a couple of years back, he was all the rage because he was a robot who could actually like walk down a step and run without falling over. And that name got me thinking about something I hadn't thought about in a long time. I was thinking about books because when I was a kid, there were 3 books that I remember reading. Well, more looking at for the first 2. I was a toddler and I would obsessively hug this astronomy book, which had a picture of a space rocket on it and Saturn. I remember that picture of Saturn. That was my teddy bear. At 5 years old, I remember touching and looking at an astrology book. I didn't understand what the heck was in it. I was 5. And I remember reading the entry for Capricorn. That's the only thing I remembered. And it said something about Capricorns being domineering parents. And those are the 2 books I really remembered. And as I got older, I was reading stuff for school and whatnot. But the first book I went and picked up on my own volition, I was about maybe 11 years old, was Prelude to Foundation by Isaac Asimov. I don't know why I picked this book, but I picked this book. And in it was, a protagonist named Hari Seldon. And Hari Seldon was a psychohistorian. So his job was to collect the data and make long-term predictions on how the different planets in the galaxy would fare and, how societies would change and evolve over time. And I didn't know it then, but looking at what I do now and who I am now, it's just like, yeah, I must have known something. So that was a really big foundational book for me. And I think I learned more from it than I did from my college education. And I read a lot of other of Asimov's books. It's amazing. He also has a book called Magic, which I highly recommend. And I would say another very formative author for me would be, and this is because of my brother's influence, because he was really the bookworm. Anytime we had to move house, we literally would have 1,000 novels or something. Secondhand bookstores and whatnot, but still a lot of books. And I would say the second most formative influence on me was Terry Pratchett. Now, for anyone who ever asks me about magic and spirituality and the occult, I just say go read Pratchett. It is as good a guide as you're going to find anywhere else. Any of his stuff that involve the very personable death in his series or the witches, you want to learn about magic, read that first. So for me, it was always Asimov and Pratchett. And yeah, I just got to thinking, and I thought that today, as something different, because one has to realize a person is a multifaceted being. And I don't like the idea that I have to be one thing or one role to have a community, because I resist that. The moment you tell me to be one thing, I'll be like, goodbye. And so I encourage that. I encourage, different topics and stuff that we can cover. And today is going to be books. And we can stay away from some of the heavier stuff because you know what? There's enough of that going around. So one of you is asking, what is the name of the book? Prelude to Foundation. Amazing, amazing book. Definitely very formative. If you're looking for a good recommendation for Terry Pratchett, Hogfather is good, Soul Music is good, any of the Discworld series, especially, and the Tiffany Aching series is very, very good as well. So, these are the kinds of things that, again, without my conscious brain realizing, kind of gave me the perspectives and frameworks to be doing what I'm doing now. And I'm very selective about books. It's got to be a very, like, people send me stuff all the time, but unless I have that inner instinct to look, I'll just be like, thank you very much. And I'll wait and see if I get that instinct. But these two things were never things that were coerced, they just happened. And I guess that's that's the way a lot of things have happened in my life. So I thought I'd open the floor to you, and I let give you guys guys, girls, people, different terms, different genders, different orientations, whatever. Let's just people. So I thought I'd turn it over and to everyone, and maybe you can share what your favorite books have been. Who really put you on the path that you've been on, and whether or not you realized it. I guess even as a kid, in fact, more so as a kid than I did in my intervening teenage and adult years, I think I always knew I was going to be the Sky Priestess. I just didn't know how to communicate it to myself at that time. But yeah, well, what has been your influences? So I'm hoping for some answers. In the meantime, I'm also looking at some of the comments. Vivi says, lockdown again in my city. I heard. Maggie Pillay says, yay, got you live finally. Janelle says, greetings. Grace says, hi, Dr. B. Hope you're staying cool in the summer heat. I got to tell you, in Malaysia, most people use air conditioning or have the fan on at all times. It's humid. It's humid. Cynthia wants to know about heavy astrology stuff, maybe next time. Anthony says hi. Latoya says, hey neighbor, just walked in, so I'll watch the replay right after. Didn't miss much, just an intro to our topic today, which is books and authors and people who've really influenced your thinking over the years. Okay, Sharon says good morning. Jackie says good morning. MS Love and Life says grand rising, right back at you. And Robert Lamont says James Baldwin hit me like a heart comment as a teenager. Okay. Anything you can recommend? ASMR Angel Whisper says hello. Thank you for coming online. We are on lockdown again here as well, and it's kind of lonely. I'm sorry to hear it, but I can understand. Emma cites Paramansa Yogananda. Cool. Actually, I can tell you a cool story about that. It's weird, right? My brother read Autobiography of a Yogi when he was about 9. Okay, the dude has always been one step ahead of me in spiritual stuff and so on. And I just never liked his face. And don't judge. I just never liked his face for some reason. He just kept looking at me, and I just kept looking at him, and I was just like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then when I went to his temple in California, one of the, I think the big temple there, I was sitting there, looking around. I'd gone around the whole shrine and everything. Of course, I know who this is. And there was this little kind of like gift shop. And I was like, okay. And something drew me to that gift shop. And there were clothes that he wore, as part of a small museum room in the back. Because that was where I was really feeling the vibration of the place. Wasn't the lake, wasn't the big buildings. It was just here in this small space. And, he and I have always had a bit of a, shall we say, not an easy relationship. It's always like we keep looking at each other. And so I sat there and I just started to chant. And there was a friend with me at this time. And as I started chanting, there was this wind that just came. And there was this very, very intense smell of roses. And I was just chanting and so on and so forth, and the smell just came and wafted higher and higher, and all the everything started moving. And then I was like, shit, what happened? And then everything stopped. So then he and I had a better relationship after that. I very much, I respect him and his teacher, Mahavatar Babaji. And I've always felt a resonance with that energy. And I especially like flying into Nepal back when people could fly when they wanted to, and connect very, very strongly with that energy. But that reminded me quite a bit. Anyway, let's see. Let's see who else. Grace, haha, same here in Taiwan, eating lots of lemony jellies. That reminds me, I need to respond to your email. Um, I did like flying through Taiwan. I thought the food was amazing, and I have to, at the airport, I have to check it out at some point. Batwoman says, Bill Plotkin, Wild Mind and Nature and the Human Soul. Cool, cool. Cynthia says, please make a video about Saturn return. I can summarize that real quick. It's just about finding what is the real focus in your life. What do you need? What do you not need? Cut out what you don't need. Focus on what you do. And that is it, really boiled in a nutshell. All right, let's look at Robert Lamont's comment. Giovanni's Room and Another Country, two of my favorite Baldwin books. Thank you for sharing. Luca, Third Eye by Lobsang Rampa. Okay, that is a name that I have certainly heard. Robert Lamont, The Tao of Internal Exercises. Okay, that sounds great. Grace says, facing the God, all you people are so like spiritually focused, man. I was talking to you about Isaac but Terry Pratchett. um, Grace says, facing the fall future for essays on the social relevance of Buddhism. Okay, Batwoman says, The Wild Edge of Sorrow by Francis Weller. Grace says, the spirit of intimacy, ancient African teachings and the ways of relationships. That sounds cool. ASMR Munchie says, wasn't allowed to read about that stuff until I became an adult. God Without Religion and The Secret gave me a taste to keep striving. The Secret and Eat, Pray, Love opened a lot of people up to the search in different ways to differing degrees, but credit where credit is due. They really opened people up to it, and then hopefully people took the journey further. Let's see. Emma says, great story. I'd love to go to SRF. Thanks for sharing. Go to the gift shop. That's where the energy is, if you ask me. Grace says, this bridge called my back. Writings by radical woman of color. Cool, cool. Gary says, come visit Taiwan. What did you think of our spiritual energy here? I was only in the airport, but I liked it. Lantern Hill says, been influenced by many topics and authors. The first astrology book I read was Linda Goodman's Sun Sign in the 1970s. Still love astrology. Her forums are pretty interesting. The people in those forums, and the threads are still online. You find some very, very interesting perspectives there for people who want to deepen their knowledge of astrology. Robert Lamont, Stalking the Wild Pendulum on the Mechanics of Consciousness by Itzhak Benthoff. ASMR says, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yes. It's my favorite sci-fi series. If you're talking more lightheartedly, Douglas Adams has a lot of cool and funny points. That's another book. That's another book that's basically coded all over the place, and it's absolutely awesome. Yes, it's really good. Could Cannot say I like the film adaptation that much, though anything with Martin Freeman in it is appreciated. But I did love the book. I really did. The entire series was fantastic. Okay, what else do we have? I mean, feel free to share. I'm just sharing with you the stuff that influenced me. You don't need to like keep it one way or another, but feel free to share. Okay, Emma says starting slave species of God on the galactic war, takeover and bid on the DNA origin of humanity. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, check out ascensionglossary.com. I would say those guys are about 90% correct, and I rarely say that about things. Sunchild 4 says A Wrinkle in Time. Cool, cool. ASMR says the film broke my heart. She means Checker's Guide. I I have to agree. It was the only saving grace was Slarty Bartfast, in my opinion, and the robot. Let's see. What else do we have? What else we got? Mm-mm-mm. Oh, okay. Kachia is listening to Joseph Campbell, hearing his lectures. Cool, cool. Like I said, everyone seems a lot more studious than me, but then again, that is generally a feeling that I have. Um, okay, what else we got here? Could you please give the reference again? A loud bike drowned it out. Ascensionglossary.com. Grace says Parable of the Talents by Octavia Butler. I mean, I hope people go through this comment thread because I'm sure there's excellent resources here for anyone who's looking to study different things and, expand their mind in different ways. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think maybe we can go talk about something else now, unless there are any more books or references that. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Latanya Palmer, Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson. Adela says, Infectious Smile, smiling with you. Hi. Hi. Lucas Sock, also The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. Katya, will you be touching on current astrology today? Can't wait to hear what's making me write love letters. Honestly, sweetie, that's Psyche in Gemini. But today is more lighthearted. Um, okay. Actually, Latanya brings me to a different influence that I had. When I went to college, I was 16. I was in the U.S. at this place, and I had this Nigerian history professor, and he taught me about African history. And he showed us a video series by a scholar called Ali Mazrui. I think it's just called The Africans. It was amazing, and he had this phenomenal reading list. Shout out to Professor Benson Onyeji. He blew my mind with that. Um, but yeah, that was a really good one. I also remember, I think it's Adam Hochschild. I think it's Adam Hochschild, King Leopold's Ghost about the Belgian Congo. That was another formative book as well from the social justice angle. Thank you for bringing in uh, that perspective. Okay, Batwoman says, "Thank you all. Writing and can't keep up. Great book recommendations. Happy to hear it. We have a good crowd. We have a good crowd. Ultramagnetic Sense Hearts. I have to say, that name, Ultramagnetic, always reminds me of Ultra Magnus in Transformers 1986. My brother is laughing because we watch that religiously. But yes, I don't know if it's a reference, but thank you. Um, Candy says Mark Nepo's The Book of Awakening. That reminds me. Another good one is Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. I think everyone needs to read that one at least once. Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. That was a big one. Emily Miller says, "Hey Doc, ultramagnetic cries. Don't ask me about the new Transformers films; they don't exist." Okay, that one I am perfectly willing to bypass. I am perfectly willing to be in denial of that. No new Transformers films, no new Ninja Turtles films. They just didn't happen. Okay, Vivi says, I am reading that book, Siddhartha. That is a great book. It is fantastic. Are there any books you'd recommend? I'm asking my brother. Hang on, should be good.
Nothing comes to mind actually. There's too many.
Says nothing comes to mind. Come on, gotta think of one.
Uh, the Dancing Woolly Masters. It talks about spirituality and physics.
Woolly Masters.
W WULI.
Woolly. Okay.
Woolly. Uh,
The Dancing Woolly Masters, not Woolly. That's what I heard. Woolly, and that's what my brother recommends. Okay, so okay, let's see. Robert Lamont, yes, they look like jeans commercials and the new versions of those films. I agree. Tanya Naktigal says, you're saying it correctly. Definitely a must read. Noah Harari is another one that comes up. Okay. Yes, Wooly. Okay. Bangi Pillay says, hello, Dr. B's brother. All right. Um, okay. Cynthia is on her their Saturn returners. I don't know the agenda. Uh, okay. Well, grow that seed, patiently wait, keep working. That's the best you can do with Capricorn. Emily Miller's brought up The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho. Oh, that reminds me. Oh God, why can't I remember his name? Who wrote the Four Agreements? I can't remember his name, but you know what I mean. The Four Agreements. Don, was it Don Ruiz something? I don't remember off the top of my head. Okay, Kindred by Octavia Butler is great sci-fi. Okay, that sounds interesting. I might look it up. um, okay. Oh, BB says, as you mentioned, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I used to watch that cartoon back in school. It's good taste. It's a sign of good taste. Till this day, part of me adores pizza, probably for that reason. Ruiz, Don Miguel Ruiz, thank you, thank you. Katja DP says, what poetry do you read? It's been a while, actually. Um, I don't know, the past couple of years have been more survival mode. So I haven't I mean, I used to write a little bit of poetry here and there, but yeah, past few years I've been kind of in survival mode. So maybe ask me again when things have calmed down. But I did like, there was certainly a part of me that certainly liked Pride and Prejudice. You know, Colin Firth is my Mr. Darcy. That's about it. There are no further comments on that. Brandon Lewis says, hello, Sky Priestess. Just got my phone on. Cool, cool. Hey, hey. We're just doing an informal chill out hangout today. My head hurts, so I can't do too much work. So we're talking about books and movies, I guess, and, just general stuff. Cynthia says, love your videos. Thank you. Appreciate it. I do my best. I do my best, and I fit in no boxes. So, all right, let's see. Do we have any recommendations? Um, okay. Emily Miller, Rumi, Bird Wings. Okay, Grace says, fan of Mary Oliver. I'm not to say not a fan, just it's not been on my radar. Actually, the last poetess that I really enjoyed, of course, was Maya Angelou. There you go, Maya Angelou. But it's been a while. It's been a while. Things have just been so back to back to back to back. I haven't had much time to just sit, breathe, and appreciate poetry. Again, that would be nice to do that at some point. um, okay, let's see what else we got. How many of you how many of you grew up with, well, okay. So I know at least one of you has watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but how many of you are 80s kids? Like He-Man, Voltron, She-Ra, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers, the original. Um, how many of you grew up with that? Or maybe some of you might actually have watched that with your kids. Um, VB says me. Good, good. I have a feeling, looking at that, I went back and I watched that in my 20s, and I was looking at that thinking, no wonder, no wonder the 80s kids are as focused as they are right now, because all of those cartoons had very, very powerful messages. They weren't slapstick things. I mean, of course, there was that if someone wanted to watch it. And there was like a cultural shift in the 90s, and things kind of went a bit weird and slapsticky again. But in the 80s, there was just like this opening, and kids were really inspired. I mean, some of the music, like the 80s music, especially Transformers 1986, amazing stuff. And it still pumps me up till this day. And I don't know, I think there was just something in the water in that time, at that era. And it just gave people who watched this, people who were inspired by this, people who saw those kind of role models. I think we think about power and responsibility a little differently. Very different energy. Okay, let's see. All right. Latoya waves. Vivi says Spider Man. Ultra Magnetic says Voltron. Latanya says me. Amber says 1980. Emily thumbs up. G.I. Joe. It's all flooding in. It's all flooding in. Batwoman says 80s kid. Dungeons and Dragon was my favorite. I remember that. I remember that. Emma says, I know you love superheroes and gaming on occasion. Me too. I can confidently recommend Marvel's Strike Force on mobile. Thank you. I might check that out. Robert Lamont, 70s child. What would Bugs Bunny do is my motto. That is not a bad motto. That man knew what to do in a lot of situations. Maybe, except, well, I was actually reading today how many people found Bugs Bunny hot when he was seducing Elmer Fudd. So I don't know what what doors Bugs opened with that particular one. But I tell you one thing, we really enjoyed Quackbusters, which was this. My brother's laughing. We really enjoyed Quackbusters. If any one of you is taking yourself too seriously, watch Quackbusters. You'll bust some quacks. But yeah, that was a great one. That was a great one. VB Giant Robot. There's also Iron Giant, which is an awesome cartoon, but you have to make sure you watch it till the end, otherwise you'll be horribly, scarred. Candy says today the Harry Potter series resonates with my inner child. Makes sense. Maggie Pillay, 80s kid, DuckTales. Woohoo! High five. Lucas says, totally 80s kid, grew up with all of that. Adela says, yes, with my children. They have left the nest and I still enjoy them. Emma says, the 80s were amazing for popular culture. Sunchild says, Cornelia Funk, Dragon Rider. Salted Caramel says, hi from Samoa. Hello. How do you say, I mean, is there an indigenous greeting in Samoa? And if so, would you be willing to share that with us? Um, ASMR Munchie says, lol, no, Bugs Bunny is not hot. Not even when he was in that opera thing? Seriously? Really? Katya DP says, Bugs Bunny is the purest symbol of the ego for me. Expand on that if you have time. Ultramagnetic, it was a time people were tapping into a higher consciousness level, entertaining while teaching morals. The elite slowed it down because it was going against agenda's plan. I can believe that. Lucas says, Evox. Don't know if I spelled that right. It's a W, but I know exactly what you mean. I saw this meme once back in the days of when I was on Facebook, and it was like, Ewoks are Care Bears who have learned not to give a shit. That makes sense to me. Binta Dixon says Steven Universe is one recent cartoon that I think has a beautiful message. My brother likes watching that. I trust his taste. Nexodus says The Land Before Time. Oh my God. That is the one thing that can make me cry. The one thing. I just think about the song at the end and whoosh, it's the waterworks. The Land Before Time is so deep, is so moving. I just can't. I'm not getting into it. I just can't. I just bawl. Okay, I'm not going to bawl right now. So I'm going to the next comment. Um, yes, Var still disagrees with Bugs Bunny in drag. Latoya says Smurfs, Alvin, Chipmunks, and Shira, Princess of Power. Deva Smita says hello from Kolkata. Hello. We're having a fun discussion today. Lucasok, Lightsaber, and the Sky Sheriffs. Salted Caramel says, okay, hopefully I get this right. Talofa Lava Mai Samoa? Hopefully. If not, hello. Ultramagnetic says the 70s was great too. $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman was awesome. I have not watched that, but I can see if I can find it online. Which reminds me, Thundercats. Loved Thundercats. VB says in the animation movies, I loved Wall-E. Wall-E's a very good one. Robert says, "Up in the trees live the Monchi cheese." Do you remember that one? Yes, I do. 90s kid. This is true. There were some excellent things in the 90s. Dexter's Laboratory, we loved that. My brother insisted I was Dee Dee. Courage, we loved that. And all the Miyazaki films. Yes. Daphne says, "Hey, good morning." Ultramagnetic says, "Dungeons and Dragons." Yes. Margadavali Inbamutiya says, "Hello to see you. Hope you're well. Bit of a migraine, otherwise okay." Uh, I think I got ultramagnetic on a roll. He's like, "Thundercats." Oh. I did this to my cat once. She likes sitting on the dashboard, and she we were playing the Thundercats song in the car, and she likes listening to music, and she grooves very well to Mortal Kombat, the theme song. So we were playing the Thundercats song, and each time the dun 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 dun, she would just meow. I'm not kidding. This girl understands music. So yes, Thundercats. And just the music, just the music. Okay, Kacha DP says bugs took different forms, even drag, to express different needs of society. Totally what I need right now to be happy energy. Ego is not bad, just what we think we need. Totally valid. Okay, fair enough. I think I've opened something here. Everyone's flooding in, which is great. It's exactly what we need to get our minds off the world for a little bit. Latoya says Wuzzles, Muppet Babies, Cab-Ass with the Cab-Ass stars. Robert Lamont says Thundercats were wait, do you mean? Yeah, physically magnetic. I used to do push-ups while it was on. Fair enough. Daphne says, "I'm so happy to see you live. You just made my day." Yay. Maggie says, "Hydrate and take care with with the migraine lady. I'll do my best." ASMR says, "Love it, Katya." ASMR, seriously, bugs and drag. Let's see, the whole of Disney from the 80s. I could not agree more. The Jetsons, Mortal Kombat video game, Robotech, anyone? Yes, my brother was a big fan. That was a bit too young for that by the time that came here, but we also watched a whole lot of anime. Um, Ultramagnetic says the cat's been here before. Oh yes, yes, that lady has. Speed Racer is another one that comes up. Mashiva says, "Hello from London." Katya says, "Yes, I know. Lipstick on rabbits. This Bugs and Drag has struck a chord somewhere." Has struck a chord somewhere. I was just, I mean, one of the reasons why I was bringing this up is I was just, looking at how people are responding. And yeah, Bugs and Drag is still continuing. Somehow I think some people are going to start looking this up. Um, Emma says Alice in Wonderland and Charlie in the Chocolate Factory were my faves as a kid in the 80s. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Um, oh, Inspector Gadget, the original. Yes, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I remember that. I remember that. Especially the theme song. Oh man, this is funny. ASMR, I take no responsibilities for any dreams that you may have. Latoya says Pink Panther. Daphne Smith says Charlotte's Web. I mean, like these are all this like it was just so different. TV, books, music, everything was just so different. Everything was just so different just a couple of decades ago. I mean, and of course, things always change over time, but there are some things that, um, there's some things that we can just look at and, we just feel instantly energized or connected to. Yeah, for me, it's certainly those cartoons. And like I said, don't get me into Land Before Time. All right, we see N Black. Hello, fam. Hello, hello. Um, Ambar Moval says fun. Uh, Robert Lamont says, "Go go gadget arm." Yep, yep. Oh, here we go. Emma says, "In the 80s, UK rave culture was literally born out of rebellion against right wing oppression. And the movement is bigger than ever now. It's amazing what can be born out of people's desire for freedom and creativity." Okay. Batwoman says, "This is absolutely wonderful. Thank you. What a great way to start my weekend." Robert Lamont says, "Woody Woodpecker, Chili Willy the Penguin." See, there's a reason why you had to put the words "the penguin." That's the reason why you had to put it at the end. Oh, good morning to Yessie. We're just having a fun chill out today, nothing serious. Movies, TV, books, stuff that inspires, and currently we're on cartoons. Um, and what was I about to say? Chili Willy the penguin just broke my line of thought. Here we go. I remember that dude. He was very cold. Uh, Batman, the animated series. Now, yes, brother just did this. Batman, the animated series. Who remembers the 90s Batman cartoons? Those were cool. Those were so cool. Um, Also, any of the current DC, what's the word for it? Animated movies. That's amazing. That's amazing. Just amazing. But this thinking about all this stuff gives me an idea of what I need to be YouTubing. Oh, here we go. Ultramagnetic says, "Remember Super Friends?" I think I might vaguely. Sunchild Force says, "The Boogaloos were a rock band that lived in a forest and had wings that allowed them to fly through the sky." That just sounds cool. And Black, Gargoyles. I love Gargoyles. Gargoyles was amazing. I had a huge crush on David Sanatos. Huge crush. But, yes, he says, "Just finished watching the Avatar." I'm guessing you mean the animated series, which is supposed to be very, very good. Um, okay, Ghostwriter, Batman in the 90s fueled my love for Marvel and DC now. Yeah, all of you, I think, are very inspired by this thread. You're all going to be YouTubing after this. I know it. I know it. Street Hawk. I haven't seen that one. How many of you went to anime? Oh my God. Oh, this one I have to address. My favorite movie in the 90s was Beauty and the Beast and still is. That was the first movie I remember ever watching. Ever watching. I love the songs. I have a best friend, and we just sing the songs together. We adore it. Every scene, every frame, it's a masterpiece. Gotcha is Powerpuff Girls, yes. Dun, 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 dun. Dexter's Lab. Robert Lamont says Aquaman, such a pleasant, animal loving fella. Aw. Katja says Cowboy Bebop. Remember that? Grace says yes, bootleg anime. Lantern Hill says I was a huge fan of the original Batman series. Name two of my cats after two of the actors. What are their names? Lion King. Cool. I like anime, especially the ones with true Japanese Eastern folklore. Inuyasha, yes. Ranma, yes. Fushugi Yugi, yes. For me, it's got to be Rurouni Kenshin. I don't know how many times I have rewatched that series. Phenomenal moral code. Phenomenal moral code. Or Samurai X, as it would be syndicated in some of your countries. Um, yes. Okay. I think the purpose of today's Hello Neighbor to cheer people up has been successfully achieved. Successfully. Um, okay, let's see. Anything else? Though I think I am going to wind up in a sec. I think you're going to be Googling right after this. Digressing here. Oh, I have seen quite a few Malaysian food videos in the past few months and would love to eat some in the future when I get a chance. Now, Malaysian food is interesting. Basically, you get a whole bunch of people from completely different racial ethnic origins, and you have to find a way to get them to coexist. So they did that through food. So each culture borrowed a little bit from a different culture. So the kind of food you would find in Malaysia, even though it has larger influences that are common to the Southeast Asian region, like using a lot of galangal, lemongrass, coconut milk in the cooking, you would also find a lot of carryovers from the different cultures. So Malaysia is basically food paradise. So yes, it's pretty good if you like to eat. Katya says the music in Lion King resonates still with the younger generations. I have children under 10 and they love it. Aww. Okay, for curiosity says Care Bears, The Littles, and Paddington Bear. I am a major Paddington Bear fan. I remember when the movie came out, the recent one, and Paddington looked like he was about to fall into some oven or furnace or something. I was literally at the edge of my seat. I adore Paddington Bear, even though I don't like marmalade. Paddington is the best. He is like the mascot of England, and he stands for, policies that are pro-migrant, which I appreciate, and a very kind time in England's past. Okay, Grace says Kenshin. Lol, my first fan fiction writing for a definitely had a crush on Sojiro. You had a crush on Sojiro. Really? That guy's a kid. But then again, you might have been as well, so I guess that makes sense. I like Sano. Um, okay, so yes, well done. This was fun. It worked. Good, good, good. Robert says my favorite aspect of anime is when characters gasp with frozen faces that somehow tremble. Understood. Daphne says, I swear the 70s and 80s were the best. Though I would say the music of the 60s is the best, but that's a different topic entirely. Adela Bella says, yes, anime Spirited Away, a favorite. Let's see, Initial D is the best. The original Powerpuff Girls went deep, lol, even exposed the evil good dichotomy. Agreed, agreed. Roti canai plus sambal from Malaysia is chef's kiss. I agree with that. One cat was George Sanders. He played the Professor Villain, and Eartha Kitt. She was the original Catwoman. Oh, that is pretty cool. Emma says Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away are the beautiful pieces of art too. I agree. Like to both watch Howl's Moving Castle recently. Truth is Alchemy, The Last Unicorn. I love The Last Unicorn. It was so sad, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I remember that. Also, the old Swan Lake that was made at about the same time. Hauntingly beautiful. And Black says Babar. Yes, yes. I love Babar. I thought Babar was a great king. We need governance like that now. Uh, Daphne says, you made me happy. You're a beautiful soul. I do my best. Uh, okay, Robert Lamont says the Drunk History series did a great showcase on Eartha Kitt. What is Drunk History? That sounds good. Candy says, yes, all the Studio Ghibli movies. Agreed. Overflow Tarot says, good morning from Atlanta. Good morning, good morning. Good evening from Malaysia. Vinta Dixon says, thank you for this, Dr. B. Robert Lamont says, Disco Duck was my first record in childhood. Remember that track? I have never heard of Disco Duck. That sounds interesting. Daphne, Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters is probably my number one all time favorite movie. Like my heart just went up reading that comment. For anyone who doesn't know, Dan Aykroyd's family was actually in the ghostbusting business. They were psychics. And so he based the original script of Ghostbusters on stuff that his family actually did, on his family's research. So for him, it wasn't like some far outlandish thing. So, when Harold Ramis came, they had to rewrite parts of the script, and they just turned it into this completely amazing thing. There's a documentary on Netflix. I think that's called Movies That Made Us. Check it out if you love Ghostbusters. I love Ghostbusters. Absolutely. Bam. If you like animated Ghostbusters, check out Extreme Ghostbusters. I think that came out in the 90s. That terrified me. But it was really, really good. And it was very progressive, very inclusive too. But yeah. Okay. Latoya says, thank you for this light-hearted and upbeat discussion. Much needed. Crone K says, Disco Duck, major flashback. Emma Hampson says, 90s music is underrated too, especially hip-hop on the zeitgeist social commentary. Hip-hop is something I could never get into. I know, don't judge me. It's because I can't understand what they're saying. And this is the thing, if something has music and words, I have to study it separately. Otherwise, I don't get it. Even with Disney, it's like it's easy for me to hear and understand what they're saying. And I've tried with hip hop. I really have. It's just never sat with me, but I really, really tried. When I was young, I was basically learning piano until my teacher ran away. Story of my life. But so it was just always easier for me to get Baroque music and that more Western classical form in. But it's something I'm working on. I'm trying. Lucas of Texas Laboratory. Schoolhouse Rock. Wow, there's so many things here. Oh my God, I forgot. ESMR Manchi says, I forgot. My Neighbor Totoro, Spirited Away. Grace with Naruto and Archie. Cow and chicken. Yeah. Okay. Lantern Hill says the cat, Eartha Kit, had a raspy voice, was a talker, and she was pregnant when she showed up as a stray. Wow. Lucas Sock says Johnny Bravo. My brother still makes fun of me because I do cheesy poses. So, Kacha DP says, my cousin brought me up to the video game Metal Gear Solid is totally prophetic. Emma Hansen says, good stats, Dr. V. Overflow Tarot says, anyone watch the newer version of Shira? So good. We are planning to do that. Jay Davila says, the never ending story of Dark Crystal. Ah, yes, the never. Falcor. Falcor. Amazing. Dark Crystal, I haven't seen. I think I saw the original. Adela Vela says, pulling out a topic, how's the weather here? The nights is humid here in the UK. Well, in Malaysia, the weather is less wet, and very wet. And the humidity is always superlatively high. But we did rain today, so it's probably a little bit cooler outside than usual, and it's nighttime, so it would be a bit cooler right now. Bahamadia, I haven't seen that one. Okay, drunk. Robert Lamont says Drunk History is an American educational comedy television series produced by Comedy Central. I like Comedy Central. I will check it out. Interesting, interesting. For Curiosity says Scooby Doo and Xena. Love both. The Labyrinth is also a timeless classic. Yes, always room for Bowie. But yeah, well, uh, always room for Bowie. But on that note, I think I'm going to call it a night and go and rest. And I hope all of you have enjoyed this thread, got something to look forward to, got some YouTubing ideas to get on, and thank you for some of your ideas as well. I'm glad this was a successful installation of Hello Neighbor 13. And yeah, take care, lots of love. Remember, you can't always be focused on the work all of the time. You're a person, you got to do stuff that makes you happy. So, ciao ciao for now. Bye bye.